What to do when the higher education bubble finally pops? Because this happened, my friends. It's just something of interest. So my man Mark, he works at a well-known Ivy League university. I can't remember if he said I could say much more than that. I think he did, but I'm going to try to avoid making it too obvious. And he's not a professor or anything. He's just regular working guy. You know what I'm saying? He's telling me, he emailed me about all these people at this Ivy League university being laid off. It's interesting, and those people never come back. There's no jobs for many people at the universities. There's just no funding. The university system in of itself is built on sand. Is one thing when the baby boomers were huge and everyone's like, we got to go to college, and people were willing to pay $5,000 a year. It's a whole nother thing when you're literally mortgaging to get a degree that's taught by politically correct hacks and gender studies and things of that nature, and freaking racism theory and critical race theory and all this crap. No one, I mean, that's even infiltrating physics departments now. No one's going to pay mortgage. No one's going to take a mortgage to get their kid to get educated for that. It's just not going to happen. And it certainly shouldn't happen, because that's just stupid. Especially when you can get everything you need online without having to go through all that crap. Like right now I'm in a course at Penn Foster on a solar photovoltaic, well, solar thermal and photovoltaic. It's interesting. I've always found that interesting. Costs $400. I just, the reason I could probably get all that for free. I mean, I've read so much on solar before. I'm sure I could get all that for free. But the nice thing about paying for a course is that keeps you motivated to read and take the test and all that. Whereas if it's free, it's just kind of like, I'll get around to it, which I never actually end up doing. So anyway, you can get all that stuff just by going to a online. Obviously, if you're going to go into physics or something like that, or chemistry, you need to have a lab. All this stuff's going to sprout up where you can go to a lab and whatnot. Anyway, the point is, no one's really going to care too much about your credentials in terms of for most jobs. Now, you will still need to be a PhD in chemistry and stuff like that if you want to be a professor. If you're going to get funding and whatnot, you still need to have all that. But that will be lessened to some degree if the PC culture and the woke brigade begins to infiltrate it more and more. All right. So the point is, but this isn't just about the higher education just shooting itself in the foot, which it's been a long time coming. I mean, the baby boomer generation was huge. I'm the baby bust generation. We're less. They built all these Taj Mahals to appeal under the idea that everyone is going to go to college, and this mass influx of people will continue in perpetuity. And it's just not happening. Fewer and fewer people are going to school because the population is lower. Fewer and fewer men are going to school because they know they're not wanted. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And most men don't want to be browbeated by feminists, scholars, and stuff like that. They're just like, why would I pay money for that crap? Who needs it? And so you have fewer and fewer people going to school. There's going to be less and less demand for college from foreign countries, which pay the full ride, because who wants? Think about it. If you're a prince of Saudi Arabia, and you're going to send your kid a full ride to, we'll just say Tulane, I'm just using that for example, $50,000 a year, and you find out your kid is being taught feminist, transgender crap, you'll be like, no, that's stupid, I'm not doing that. I mean, think about it. It's not going to happen. Now, the Chinese, the CCP, I know they're putting money into these schools and the Confucius Institute and whatnot. Trump tried to derail that, so they might still send some kids over here. But again, a lot of these countries aren't in agreement with our PC ways. They're just not. And they'll be like, no, I'm not doing that. On top of that, we have limits as well. I mean, Trump did start the path to say we're going to limit, visas and all this stuff as well. So you're going to have less demand. Less demand among Native Americans, native-born Americans, not American Indians. Less demand among foreign people who pay the full ride. And then, frankly, you just got the expenditures, just less. I mean, people can't afford it because of diversity hires. These administration. It's not just diversity. My man Sam says, "Why always picking on diversity? Chief compliance officers of diversity, because they make a sick amount of money for actually adding no value whatsoever." But that's not, they're just a symptom. They're not a cause. The administration of these universities has gone exponentially almost in terms of the number of administrators that there are, all with fat salaries, all with fat benefits, none of which add value, while the professors are being farmed out to adjuncts. Adjuncts is basically a pay for hire. Like, I did an adjunct course when I was at Virginia Commonwealth Youth University, VCU, on CFP. They paid me $3,000 for a course as an adjunct professor. That was it, man. So I drove down to Richmond to I think I went twice a week or something like that, taught the course. And the funny thing was, I'd only been a CFP professional for like a year, maybe 2 years, I think, before I was offered that role as an adjunct. And that was in 2005, I think. And where I'm at today in terms of my financial skills, my financial planning skills, I mean, I literally just taught from the book because I won't say I was ignorant. I had been in the business a while, but I mean, still was nowhere near as experienced as I am now. So VCU, they said, we want to improve our CFP course because we get essentially people from Dominion Resources, Philip Morris, whatnot, executives to pay us big bucks for our executive program CFP course, and they'll happily pay, and we get essentially free money, and it only costs $3,000. Well, I was just teaching. The course I was teaching was not worth what they were paying. It just wasn't, because they didn't want to pay for quality, highly educated, trained professionals. They just want to take anybody to throw up there, read from the book, and say, "All right, here's $3,000," and hopefully the CFP students won't recognize, the difference between a good financial planner and a not so good one. Again, that was 17 years ago, so I guess 15 years ago. I'm sure it's the same thing now, without question. So a lot of these schools are going away from full-time tenured professors who have as much as love or hate them, the facts are they are experts in their chosen field, and as such, they're commanding a expert in their chosen field salary. To adjuncts, who are kind of part-time professors, have no rights, no ownership. Now, they still might be experts, but they might not be. Some adjuncts are going to say, "Look, I just need a job. If you're willing to pay me to be a lecturer, I'm happy to do so. Come on." Where other people who would be professors like, "Nah, I can't do it for $3,000. It's not." I mean, like, for instance, I could not do it right now for $3,000. It's definitely not worth my time. No way, no how. Even though I'm much more valuable today as an adjunct as I would have been 15 years ago. I hope that makes sense. So, all right, so we got a falling apart of the university system. Layoffs are coming, without question. So less students, less employees. Less students, less money, thus less employees. Now, what does that do to the overall economy right around there? So let me give an example. So my second is in 11th grade, and we're going to start scoping out schools. And I was just looking at Appalachian State University. I was looking at real estate around there, just to get a gauge. And I saw a condo near walking distance of Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina, for like $379,000. Now, it's a nice condo, don't get me wrong, but it's a condo, man. Near the university, I saw houses all in Boone for well over $400,000. Boone's not a huge town. I mean, it's nice and all, but the reason these are so expensive is because of the demand for the students that go to these schools has driven up the price of the places where people can live. I guarantee if Boone, North Carolina did not have a university, these places would not cost $379,000 for a condo, well over $400,000 for a 3-bed, 2-bath house on an eighth of an acre, I guarantee. The only thing that's keeping these prices up are the demand because the university is there. You know, professors coming in, students coming in, real estate investors wanting to own so they can turn around and rent it out to college students and whatnot. Well, what happens when that demand falls off? Not only are less professors coming in, less students are coming in, and less employees as well, all right? What happens to the university system, the economy for which everyone is geared towards around that? What happens to the price of those buildings? What happens to those restaurants? What happens to just the local economies as the situation continues to deteriorate? We're only just begun. Oh, come on, buddy. Come on, Pablo. Hey, puppy. That's a big dog over there. Come on. Nope. Come on, Pablo. Oh, that's a big boy. Come on. Pablo's trying to see this huge dog because Pablo thinks he can take him on. It's a big old boy. So what happens? I don't know, but it just seems to me that anytime there's a bubble, and you can see it a mile away, and you can see the beginning of the popping. It might not just be a big kaboom pop like a balloon. It might just be a slow letting out of the helium. Shh, like a slow leak. But just going back to this is an Ivy League school, one of the top schools in the world with huge layoffs. And these people aren't coming back. How do you, I'm telling you, man. So anytime there's opportunity exists on both the upside and the downside. Where is the opportunity that people could take advantage of in any economic system that is deflating? You know, I don't know. I mean, you can't short real estate explicitly. You can't short a $379,000 condo in Boone, North Carolina. I mean, the way you can avoid it. But how do you take advantage of these things? I mean, just think of all the businesses that are going to be suspect, I guess, to the deflation, from the local plumbing guy, from the local schools. How many? I mean, if you have less people moving in, less professors taking their kids, you have less people in the public schools and all that. So how do you? I mean, I don't know how you take advantage of it. In stocks, you take advantage of it by shorting. I've never been a fan of shorting because there is literally unlimited downside risk. Unlimited. Where at least when you own a stock, there is limited downside risk. It goes from what you bought it at to zero. That's it. So there is a definitive floor. When you're shorting, it's unlimited on the downside risk. Come on, that's yucky. That's an ant hole, buddy. So I don't know how you take advantage of it. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts. And are you seeing that in your neck of the woods if you're affiliated with a school of some sort? Now, the saving grace, of course, will be the hospitals, and because, I mean, the healthcare systems are always going to be in high demand. I look back at University of Virginia, you know, Charlottesville area, the UVA medical system is quite elaborate, and I think a lot of people, it's pretty good. And that is huge, and that's booming. So there's nothing happening to that. Yeah, in terms of UVA specifically, in terms of liberal arts and stuff, I don't know. But the healthcare system is doing fine. I think, actually, I don't even know that anymore. Given all the stupid coronavirus crap, people are laying people off like crazy. Even the hospitals are being inundated with layoffs and stuff. So I don't know how you deal with that. It'd be interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you deal with a deflating economy? Again, I don't think it's gonna be like a bubble pop. I think it's deflating. But how do you take advantage of it? I don't know. Love to hear your thoughts. All right, we'll see you.